Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Oh my goodness, it's been a minute since me personally has showed up on live on her link channel. So I'm happy to be here today. Happy to jump back into it. My name is Crystal Almeida. I am the CEO and founder of Her Link, a community for female entrepreneurs. But today we're here with two other incredible female entrepreneurs who are joining in on this conversation, empowering other female entrepreneurs through candid conversations around business and wellness. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Dr. Kathryn. Dr. Kathryn, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where people can find you.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. It's so wonderful to be here with you amazing women, both on the stream and those in the audience. So I am Dr. Kathryn Tapper, passionately known as Dr. K-Tap. I am the founder of Glow Coaching, and I help ambitious, purpose-driven women glow in their wellness from within so that they can find that inner peace amongst the chaos and confusion going on in this world. So I am happy to be here today. And now Mary's going to introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mary Massey. I'm a personal growth strategist and social media coach, aka business mentor. I'm based in New Jersey, and I'm happy to be doing this, especially Dr. Kathryn. We haven't done this before. I know I had you on my podcast a while back, and it was an amazing episode, but it's good to have you back, Crystal. You're muted.
Yeah, like a rookie mistake over
here. We're out of practice today.
Exactly. Well, I'm committing to at least once a month showing up live with these two powerhouse women, us working in collaboration, because nothing's better than collaboration in the world of business and entrepreneurship. So we are happy to bring back this Let's Talk About It corner. We are missing a few ladies, but we are going to continue with this conversation, bringing candid conversations around business, empowerment, mindset, sharing all the tips, tricks, anything. And I've always said this, and this is kind of like the foundation of the Her Link community, is no gatekeeping. And I think Dr. Kathryn, Mary Massey feel the same way. Whatever we can do to impact, uplift other female entrepreneurs, because, hey, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It can be challenging. It can be rewarding. It can be all the amazing things. But what makes it absolutely an incredible, enjoyable journey is when you get to do it alongside other female entrepreneurs. So we're going to be bringing you this conversation the very first Thursday of every month. If you're interested in a specific topic or you want to learn about something, let us know. Put it in the DMs. Tell us, help guide this conversation that we'll be bringing to you once a month. But today, we're actually going to be talking about the intersection, finding the balance in wellness and in business. And I got really passionate about this topic coming off of reading the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I really had a big shift in my perspective of wellness. And I realized I never prioritized wellness. And I have really come to discover that when you prioritize wellness and when you balance that throughout your business strategy, you actually end up thriving in business. And you don't just thrive. And what I mean about thriving isn't that all of a sudden magically you're making millions of dollars, right? I say you thrive because you actually are able to enjoy the process. You're actually able to enjoy the experience, the journey, the ups, the downs, and really by enjoying it is where you actually get to implement changes, learn from those lessons, learn from the failures. So today we're going to provide a couple tips, and the first thing I want to say right away is if you haven't read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, this is not a commercial for the book at all. I am not marketing the book, but I am, because it's a game changer for just the way you look at your wellness and how it, where you put it on the priority scale in building a thriving business. So I'm going to pass the mic up. Ladies, who wants to take the mic to share one of your tips?
Can I go first, Mary? Is that fine?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say that you made a good point, Crystal, is what does thrive mean? And that might mean different things to different people. So I just want to pose that question to the audience, is to think about what thriving means to you. And along with that, what does success mean to you? Just putting that out there. It's not a tip, but it's something for you to really think about as you're moving forward in your work life, in your personal life, all of that. One thing I do want to say is, and this is based on, the services that I provide, in terms of your wellness, looking at it, thinking about it holistically, right? So when we think about health and wellness, the first thing that we do think about is our physical health, right? And the second thing that we may think about is our mental health. And for those of you who don't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so that is something that we should really talk about and be thinking about what is going on with our mental well-being. But apart from just your physical and your mental wellness, there are actually 8 different dimensions of wellness. So you also have spiritual wellness, think about that, environmental, occupational, social, the list goes on and on and on. But really thinking about your wellness in terms of all of those different things, because it's not just one or the other. They're all interconnected and they all play a role. I'll give an example before I take this over to Mary. Think about something that may be stressing you out right now, right? Maybe it's work, right? And that could be impacting, probably is, your productivity, because it can impact your concentration. It might be impacting your sleep, right? Which is associated with your physical health. You can even have maybe anxiety from the stressors that you're having, which impacts your mental health. So you can see just from that example alone, how one factor in your life can affect all the different aspects of your wellness. So I just want you to think about, that's one tip, think about your wellness holistically.
Mm-hmm. I love that so much because we don't necessarily stop and think about what it is affecting us. And like you said, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, but we have to be aware of our mental health every single day. So the way that we are able to find that harmony, I like to use the word harmony because I think that when you say balance, you're giving priority to this one thing, but you're leaving everything else behind, as opposed to making sure that when you do have harmony, that you are able to take care of this one thing, and because the other thing is already taken care of. So you don't have to feel a certain way about giving priority to something and slacking in a different area of your life. But that all comes with that mental awareness first, because that's what's going to help you to understand whether or not you need to take a step back, whether or not you need to take a break, whether or not you are getting enough sleep, feeling fatigued, or getting enough exercise or enough sunlight, or whether or not you need to look at your relationships in a different way. So without that awareness first, you're not going to be able to do anything else. So what I normally tell people is to just ask yourself questions rather than having that self-talk, to really go into self-conversation. So that means that you're going to ask a question, like if you were having a conversation with a good friend, and then you're going to wait for the answer and you're going to keep going in that dynamic way. So the self-conversation basically goes, what about the situation is making me feel this way? Because we think certain things that are going to make us feel a certain way, and those feelings are going to drive us either to action or inaction. So we might feel stuck because now we're feeling a certain way. So now that's where that whole, oh, I'm feeling stuck comes in, because we don't have the clarity. We haven't been asking ourselves the right question. So that is what's going to prevent us from taking charge of the things that we need to take charge of in order to have a better life, a better day. It all starts with that first question. Do I feel this way because I didn't sleep well? Do I feel this way because I might be dehydrated? Do I feel this way because I had a difficult conversation, or I'm going against something that my gut is telling me not to do? Right? So you have to be very, very self-aware. And it's like anything else, we talk about physical wellness and fitness. Before we do any of that, we have to make sure that our mind is on point. And just like we work out our muscles and we like to see the definition in our body, we also need to do that with our mindset. So it's something that has to be worked at every single day, sometimes several times a day. And I'll end with this. In order for you to grow with your mindset, you have to challenge yourself. You have to go into uncomfortable situations, and you have to ask yourself the right questions and take a moment to answer those questions also. So I'll pass it on.
Okay, so Mary Massey, you just said something that I've been applying. Another book that I've been reading, it's The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And it's actually really cool. It actually, Mary, what you just pointed out is a very tangible task. I'm going to give everybody listening in or watching this replay is what Mary said was all these things. How did it make you feel? Why did it make you feel? And so you're asking those questions, but the key that Mary said is you have the responsibility and you have the ability to take action to change how you feel. And what this book teaches you is things happen to us or things make us feel a certain way, and that's not our fault. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility on how it makes you feel and how you come off of that, right? And what you do about it. And I think a lot of that applies in wellness and in business, right? If you feel, low energy, if you feel, not your best self, if you're feeling a little bit down, when you recognize and you ask those things in your wellness perspective, then you can do things to change that. It's, going for a walk, getting out and to get some sunshine, maybe take some vitamin D if there's no sunshine outside, whatever it is, but we have the power in our hands. And I think that same rule applies to business and entrepreneurship. It's all about solving what is surfacing for us and getting to the roots. I read a quote about in society, we do a lot of chopping at our leaves instead of really chopping at the roots and finding out the reason as to why something made us feel the way it did. So that's a huge part of balancing your wellness. I would say it's doing the work and actually writing it down. And, it can be a really difficult thing to sit down and write down, like, why did this make me feel this way? Your first answer is probably going to be on the surface level. And you got to keep on asking that question until you get to the root cause. So then you can provide solutions to, changing the circumstance or the feeling that you're having.
Yeah, Crystal. So I remember a while ago, I heard this quote, and I think it was my husband who sent it to me. It was a public speaker, motivational speaker. I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about responding with the ability to do something, right? That's our responsibility. Because I think that we're in a society too, where we look to everybody else to help us feel better, but we have it within us already to be responsible. We have to be responsible for our own well-being. Nobody is going to change our mindset. Nobody's going to get us off the couch and start the business. Nobody's going to drive us to the gym and put the dumbbells in our hand and move our arms for us. So we have the responsibility to respond with the ability to do something about the way that we feel if we don't want to feel that way. Now, of course, if you're okay feeling down and feeling unmotivated, that's on you. But when you have that growth mindset and you want more for your life, you are more than capable of changing your circumstances for the better, as long as you know what to do.
Oh, and I'm going to pass it to you, Dr. Kathryn. The last thing I'm going to say on this, and I thought this, I don't know why I thought this, but for the longest time, I thought someone like Mary Massey, who's a Zumba instructor, she's at the gym, she lives at the gym. Fitness is, a part of your life, your business, everything. I just assumed every single day you wake up and you're excited to go to the gym. I just assumed that you love working out so much, right? Where I was like, oh gosh, I got to go to the gym today. And then I heard from a fitness trainer, that's normal for even fitness trainers to not want to go to the gym. It's normal for every single human. Nobody is immune to that wakes up and says, oh my goodness, I'm so excited every single day. Some days are better than not. So I think it's just important for everybody to realize is, it's a choice that we have to make every single day. Some days we'll make that choice and we're excited about it because we know how that we're going to reap those benefits and the impact it has on our mental health. But other days, there'll be challenging, but you got to push through those days. So
I love this conversation so much, so many great tips. And, knowing that the power is within us to make a choice, as Mary said, to do something versus not to do something is where it all lies. And it's okay for some of those days to not want to do something. That's a part of our feelings that we have as human beings. And so to go along with that is give yourself some grace. I remove the word, if I could, I would remove the word perfect or perfection or perfectionism from the dictionary because no human being is perfect. And when we get stuck in that keeps us stuck, right? We don't get out of that. So giving yourself grace to know that there is growth taking place and there's going to be hills and there are going to be valleys, and that is okay. I don't know if anyone has seen a graphical representation of life, right? And the graph just shows a straight line going up. And we know that that's not how life is. Along the journey, we're heading up,
Mhm.
right? If we're intentional about that growth and self development, right? But along those ways, there are going to be hardships and there are going to be triumphs. But it's for us to accept the so called roller coaster of life, enjoy the ride or accept the ride as much as you can, because there are so many lessons to learn. And that's why it goes up, right? It's because there are lessons to be learned. You're learning from it and you're elevating yourself along the way. And so, giving yourself grace, giving other people grace and
Mhm.
understanding as well as part of the journey, both personally as well as in business, is so important, because sometimes we can compare ourselves to other people's growth and we're only seeing one part of it. Like Crystal was saying before, she always thought that Mary wakes up and she's ready to go with her exercise, her fitness, her Zumba, but that's not always the case.
No.
That's not always the case.
You know, Dr. Kathryn, you said something earlier that I was just kind of envisioning an exercise that I've done before, and I want to encourage everybody to do it. And you talked about something key. You really touched upon the balance in all of the things that affect us. And if we were to imagine, and you were to draw out right now, and draw it out in your brains right now, a line, and each line will represent, let's say, family. How much do you pour into family? Where do you lie on that line, right? And let's put business, let's put all the things that are important to you, your guiding principles, right? Put that line and figure out where you fall on that line, the middle being the happy balance. And if you realize let's say in business, you're far right and you're pouring in 100% into your business, that means you're taking from a different place, right? Then you're taking from a different place, because for all of those lines to have that balance, they all have to, that point has to fall in the middle. And when I wrote that out for myself and when I envisioned this for myself, that's what made me get my butt to the gym and realized I'm never going to experience true happiness, because there's no end game. It's about when you find that happy balance in everything, that's when you truly start to feel that happiness. And I think a lot of us in our society has taught us, and Mary, you talked about this, in Dr. Kathryn, that perfectionism, that we're all like racing to the finish line to be extraordinary, right? We're all capable of being extraordinary. We're all capable of achieving greatness and creating impact and building a successful, wildly successful business. But there is no end game. It's just constantly learning and growing and evolving and getting to the next level and choosing your problems that you get to be responsible for along the way to learn from. But it has to be done in balance, because that's part of the journey. And if you're not looking to achieve that balance in all aspects of your life, I have really come to realize I don't think somebody will ever genuinely feel that fulfillment, joyful happiness that everybody is truly just seeking to achieve in life. It's not a business that will blow up, because if your business blows up but you didn't pour into your family cup, then I'm not sure how that's going to feel. For me personally, it wouldn't feel good at the finish line.
Yeah, for me, it's like I said before, it's all about harmony. So if you think of the word harmony, what does it mean? It means something musical for a lot of people, right? So you can step into I don't know, an auditorium and find a group of second graders playing instruments and just chopping away and hitting away. And the melody is not going to sound good. The music is not going to sound good. But however, when you do step into an auditorium and now it's a philharmonic orchestra, they've been playing instruments for years, and the melody is so beautiful, and that every single instrument is playing its part beautifully, and it all works together for that specific piece. And that's what life is all about. And like you said, Crystal, if you are going after that success, and a lot of people do this, the career, the financial success, but they're lacking in their relationships, they're lacking in their spirituality, they're lacking in their overall mental health or their physical wellness, it's not going to be fulfilling. They're not thriving. They're just surviving. You're just going out to work and for the sake of paying the bills while sacrificing all the other things, the family time. What good is the big house with the long driveway and the cars and the kids in private school if you don't see your kids and you don't have a good relationship with your partner? So you have to take a look at all of these things and ask yourself, what are these things that I have going on? How can I make each one of them work for me? How can I find the harmony between all the things so that I live a more fulfilled life? And it all starts with asking that question and with having conversations with the people around you, the important people in your life. And like we've said so many times, if you are not taking care of you, you're not going to be good for anybody else. You're like the pillar, especially us women, we're like the pillar of the household. And if there's a crack in that pillar, everything's going to start crumbling down. So we need to take a step back and really take stock and audit our life, audit everything that we have going on. And like you did, Crystal, you wrote everything down, and that's wonderful. And then maybe score yourself. Brendan Burchard has his amazing high performance planner where every day he has you score yourself in every aspect of your life, from your wellness, your relationships, everything. So starting with that, just asking yourself the question, okay, what is going well in my life right now? What could use a little bit more TLC? Not saying to yourself, okay, what's going wrong in my life? We don't want to add any negative connotations to our lives, but really seeing where it is that we can maybe lean in a little bit closer and ask ourselves, what can I do to improve on this? Not for the sake of perfection, but for the sake of progression. It's that progress that'll lead us to finally achieving the life that we deserve to live.
I love it. Yep, absolutely. It all starts with taking the time to really be aware of where you are right now, and then where do you want to be, and fill in the gap of the steps that you need to take from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have another practical, it's teaching time. All right, I love it. I like practical tips because I put them into action. I got a 24-hour rule. If I learned something today, I put it into action tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow, in 24 hours, because I know I'll retain it and it will build into a new habit. So whatever I learn, I practice what I preach all the time. So here's a new thing. So one of the things, and I don't know, if I thought this, then I'm sure there's other people out there who thought the same way. But when somebody said to me, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to build a successful business? Why do you want to have that big house? Or somebody asked me those large questions, and we're telling people to get clear on, on what those values are. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'm going to get clear. I'm going to do the work. But I needed something more tangible, more specific. How do I do this? And it was another book. When I read that, write down, because okay, I could categorize things. Okay, how good am I in my wellness? That's a big category, right? But it kind of still was too big for me. I needed to get it down to bite size. And then I read this thing where all you have to do is write down the roles you play in life. Because by writing down all of the roles you play in life, that's where you're really going to start to then score yourself. Because the roles we choose to play in life, we've chosen them. We want those roles. So there we go. That's what I did. I wrote down, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a CEO, I'm a community builder. So I wrote all those things, all those things. And then I wrote, then I was writing, what do you want those aspects to be known for? And then I was really clear. Okay, so I'm super clear. I know what I want to be known for as a wife. I know what I want to be known for as a community, as a leader, all those things. And when you write those things, that just guides your daily habits. That guides what you choose to do in life. And I think when you get clear on your roles in life, now we're talking about those intrinsic values that will help you guide yourself to finding that balance in life and finding that true happiness. Because those roles, they weren't just, sometimes they're just given to us. They're handed to us, of course. But most of them, we continue and we make a choice every single day to continue to play that role. You may have a sister and that wasn't your choice, but at the end of the day, I choose every single day on how I how I choose to show up as a sister and what I want that to look like at the end of the day. So I would encourage you out there, if you haven't done that, if you're feeling that overwhelm, if you're feeling just kind of not balanced, if you're feeling like, okay, my business is doing well, but I'm still not feeling super fulfilled or happy. I think that's completely normal. And I think it's just taking inventory on those roles and what's valuable to you, what your values are, and taking inventory of where you're at and how full each one of those
Yeah,
looks.
and Crystal, let me just talk about quickly. You had to take a step back recently from Mom Link business, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you knew that there was a lot of things there that needed to be taken care of, which was affecting you. So it's important also as we're pursuing our lives, as we're pursuing our entrepreneurial, goals, to really take stock of what's working and what's not working. And I had to do a similar thing. I got to the point where I was like, okay, is it necessary for me to be putting out all of this content all the time? And because I already know what burnout feels like, I was able to tap into that and say, no, you know what? I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, because then everything else is going to take care of itself. So there are like so many things that go along with that overall holistic wellness that we talk about, right? Thriving sometimes means not working at all, making the choice to not open up the laptop, to maybe just step outside and go for a nice long walk, or maybe just watch some Netflix or eating some popcorn, whatever that feels for you. So you have to know yourself. For some people, it means getting on the phone and having long conversations, or going to the gym and hitting the punching bag, or running. You have to see what feels good to you during those times that you're feeling so like overwhelmed. If all you can do to make yourself feel better is sit down, cover up, and just chill, then do that. It's really about knowing yourself to the core so that you're able to properly take care of yourself. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because in the pursuit of success, sometimes we continue to see everything. And Dr. Kathryn, you talked about this too, the comparison. And then we look at social media and we're like, okay, now how is that person over there when I've been doing this for so long? So that comparison trap is also something that we need to take a look at and put the blinders on. The most successful people have blinders on. They don't look at what anybody else is doing. They listen to their intuition and they go with what feels good to them. Whether they post or not post, they continue to do what feels good to them. So I just wanted to mention that.
I want to mention something based on what you said. I hope my background noise is not too loud for you. Is it okay?
No, it's good.
It's good? Okay. It goes along with the stepping back when you get overwhelmed. And what I want people to know is what Mary said: listen to yourself, your body, so that you don't get overwhelmed, that then forces you to have to step back. You want to have within your plan of your wellness, daily or weekly, to really make sure that you're getting enough of that rest, that you're being intentional about that. Rest is restorative. We know that about our minds and our bodies. That goes for our business as well. Step back, assess what went well, what didn't go well, and how you can make shifts to make things better the next time around. That means you have to be still, you have to be silent, and the world doesn't teach us that. So that means we have to be more intentional about doing those things. I just wanted to add that part.
You know
Yeah,
what?
and ask for help too, right, Crystal? Like, you have three
Yeah.
amazing women here. If you're feeling a certain way, you're not alone. So just message us and say, you know what, I resonated with what you said. This is what I'm going through now. But because we're so prideful sometimes that we don't ask for help. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of just dealing on my own. I'm like, okay, do I really need to call a therapist, or can I just coach myself through this moment right now? And I know that that's not a good thing sometimes. So just reaching out and saying, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Can we talk through this situation right now? So just please feel free to contact us. We're more than happy to just be a helpful, what's the word I'm looking for here? A listening ear that is graceful, that is not going to judge you for what you're going through.
And as Crystal had said before, that's what the Hurling community is all about, is coming together and supporting each other in business, which intertwines with personal life. So it's everything together. It's all about supporting each other. And I think that's a very important part of why we're here.
Absolutely. 1000%. I mean, I wouldn't have survived entrepreneur. I wouldn't still be here building this incredible community and business if I wasn't immersed and submerged in a community of other female entrepreneurs. Like, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want nothing to do with entrepreneurship if I didn't get to do it alongside other powerful women. I mean, it's all about masterminding and learning and growing from each other. And Mary, I love that you brought up that I took a hiatus. I did, and I took a hiatus because of a full blown burnout. I was burnt to the max, and I will be the first to say I was just pouring in so much into two cups, business and community. I wasn't pouring into anywhere else, and I hit the biggest burnout. I took a 4-month hiatus. But you know what's amazing, ladies? In the moment, it's hard to see it that way. But in those 4 months, I was growing. It was like a plant that was like growing so fast and so rapidly. Like that was my growing period. I needed to take a hiatus. And I just encourage you, when you feel that coming on, and yes, it came from being burnt out, needing to take a break. But sometimes when you're forced to take that break, sometimes when you do take a hiatus, that's when you get to reset. That's when you get to level up. I believe that's when you feel the next level up come, right?
That's
And
when you take a look at what's important. Like
yes,
what truly deserves your energy and who truly deserves to be in your circle, because it's all about whether or not that person deserves my energy or not. And you'll know that right away. Like it's almost like when you meet people, and I had this conversation with somebody the other day, you meet people and something about them, like there's something inside of you that is either drawn to them that you can't explain, or it's like repelled, and you got to listen to that. And I think that goes with every decision that you're about to make, like your intuition. I had to turn down a potential client yesterday because it's something inside of me was like, no, this isn't going to work. I don't need to do this to my schedule right now for the sake of what, another client or more money. So just being able to listening to that and being more aware. So you got to look at that too and take stock of who deserves. It's a privilege to be in your presence. It's a privilege to be in my presence. Okay. So once you step into that power, because you have so much to give, then it's like, okay, who really truly deserves this, and who is going to take advantage of this opportunity to be in a conversation with me and to be linked to you, Crystal? Like who deserves to be?
Mary,
Yes.
like you have my heart like pumping right now, because that is exactly what happened. I wasn't being mindful of that, and I was allowing toxicity and just I take full responsibility because we make those choices, right? And I was just playing this like concept of being a martyr. I don't think I think it came from a genuine good place, but it doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve my family, and it doesn't serve my community at large. So it definitely, I've realized, this is a very sensitive thing for that really kind of brings up for me, Mary. And it's so important. And I promise 2024, those are the decisions I'm making, is really being selective of that energy, because you bring in toxic energy, it dilutes or it contaminates the rest, right? So be very mindful of that. And if any manifestation affirmations anybody should say, is that one right there.
Yes.
It is a privilege, to be in my energy, in my circle, in my life, in my love and space.
Your heart is bigger than your house. So that's what happens. But not everybody deserves to be there, because as they're coming into your heart, they're chipping away there, and they're, putting in something that is not useful for the rest of you. So you have to make sure that you are allowing the right people in.
Yes.
We are the right people, right, Dr. Kathryn?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, ladies, this has been an amazing conversation. Mimi, I see you're popped in, checking out this live. Love having you here. Yes, Mary's one-liner there, I love it. It's privilege to be in my presence. I hope you gained some valuable tips, enjoyed our conversation. Any last thoughts, any last little tips you want to leave Dr. Kathryn or Mary Massey?
I just want to go back to that nature reference about the seed.
Yes.
Growth takes place underneath the surface when things are dark, at your lowest point. That is when growth takes place. And before it can shoot up and you can see it above ground, roots are being grown for you to ground and center yourself with what is coming next. So if you are in a place right now where things are dark, where you're not seeing the fruits of the work that you're putting in, you're not doing it in vain. Keep doing what you're doing. Ask for help if you need it. This journey is not for you to be alone on, and know that it will come to fruition in its time. Just continue to nurture yourself before nurturing other people.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that visual. Anything, the hardships are what's shaping you for the future. And if you find yourself saying, here I go again, starting over, you're not starting over, you're starting from experience, because everything that you've encountered up until this point has made you who you are. And now you know how to discern a little bit better. You know how to listen to yourself a little bit better. And you know who it is that you need in your corner in order to succeed, because as that seed continues to grow, this is something that is actually from botany and whatever. The seed already has the nutrients for that seedling up until a certain point, and then it's going to need other environmental factors to continue to help the plant grow. That is fertilization, that is sunlight, that is pruning, etc. So consider yourself being pruned once in a while. Consider yourself needing that fertilization once in a while. Consider yourself needing that sunlight and that energy from everything around you, from your environment. All right. So just take that with you. I love visuals, because I really need you to just understand that. Those of you who are still here, close your eyes and just visualize what it really takes for a massive tree to bear fruit. Okay. And that's how we are sometimes as parents. We don't realize that there's so much going on underground. But in order for that tree to bear fruit, it has to be healthy. It has to extend branches, and it has to bear delicious fruit. It's not going to do that if it's a tree that hasn't been planted in the right soil, etc. So just consider that.
All right. So to leave things off, I am not a comedian, but I got a funny joke to just kind of leave it there. Mary, Dr. Kathryn, when that seed is sitting in that dark soil, what are they using to put on top of that soil? That's kind of how it feels in the moment, right? It feels like that. It smells bad. It feels bad. You are sitting in it. Full throttle. And guess what? That's exactly what the seed is going through. But that's what it takes to fertilize that ground so you can grow and get to that next level up. So
yeah, the more crap you have thrown at you, the better.
And just be mindful. You get to choose the crap that gets thrown at you. You choose your business, you choose your community, you choose the people you surround yourself with. And so just make sure you are building your business. You are doing entrepreneurship, not alone. Do it in community. Do it around like-minded women. Do it around women who are going to make you grow and that you can learn from, like these two incredible women, Mary Massey, Dr. Kathryn. My name is Crystal Almeida. This has been brought to you by Her Link Community, a community for female entrepreneurs. Catch us back again the first Thursday of every month. If you would like to hear us speak on a specific topic, anything to do around business, wellness, mindset, we'd love to hear from you. Definitely comment on this video. Leave us some love. Leave us a little bit of love. Give us some digital currency love by hearting this video if you enjoyed the conversation. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.